But my second day, I actually got good footage. So I think the kids, if you have younger kids, they need to get used to the camera a little bit. Like I told them we were recording a movie and that they were going to be actors and actresses. And once I think I kind of told them that, they got a little bit more accustomed to the camera. And by the 5th day, they didn't even realize the camera was there. It was just something that was in the back of the room. They really didn't care about it anymore. So just know that when you're doing your videos, there are going to be video footage that you don't like. It's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be. I made a lot of mistakes in my video, but what's good about EdTPA is that at the end of the commentary, which they ask you, like, what would you do better next time? And as a teacher, that's also really important because you always want to think and reflect after your lessons, like, what could I have done better? What went well, and what can I do better next time? There's always something you can improve on as an educator. So EdTPA gives you that chance to say, hey, what didn't you do so well, and how are you going to fix that? So, I said, I think, I didn't give enough feedback that was deeper. Like, I wanted to expand their knowledge, but instead I was kind of like just getting yes and no questions. So I said next time I would use higher order thinking questions. And that's also really important and something we will learn from Dr. Smirnova, that those higher order thinking questions from Bloom is really, really important because that deepens the student's thinking other than just giving you a yes, no kind of response. You don't want that in the classroom. You kind of want them to elaborate. Even if they are first grade, I know it seems like you don't think they're going to give you enough, but if you really ask them to elaborate, they will elaborate for you. So keep that in mind too, like if you have footage and you're like, I don't think any of this footage is good, still pick something, and again, at the end of your commentary, you can say, hey, this is what I would do differently. EdTPA, I'm sure will acknowledge it if you back it up with research. Research is really important in EdTPA. It will tell you where you should cite research and stuff, and you want to do good research. You don't want to just throw out names. Like, you don't want to just throw out Vygotsky, and you don't want to have anything backing it up. Like, you just want to have like those really good resources. I used a lot of my education textbooks. I always kept my ed textbooks. I know people use like Kappa Delta Pi resources. I know I'm a member of the Reading Society. I used a lot of their stuff. I don't know if I have an example of. See, like you can see right here, I cited, I found even articles in our library database. So that was. This I took from an article, and I just said, the author explains what higher order thinking questions are. So I backed up what I was saying with research, so it made sense, and they couldn't say, oh, she just made that up out of thin air. No, like, theory shows, and it's backing you up. And that's really about it as for videotaping. As for your, planning, really pay attention to what Dr. Smirnova tells you with your lessons and how you write them, and take her feedback and, her constructive criticism seriously, because my view of lesson planning changed, 360 from the time I was in her class and during my student teaching. The most important thing is your objective. You really want a very strong objective in your lesson, because that's kind of where the person who's reading your lessons focuses on the most. If you have a really strong objective, that sets the pace for your whole lesson. And that's what the person is really looking for, because that just tells the person what your goal is from your lesson. And to have a strong objective, you want to use your Bloom's taxonomy verbs. You'll hear Dr. Smirnova say it a lot, and it'll become repetitive, but it's really, really important that you use Bloom's taxonomy, it does make a huge difference. And these words aren't hard, like you can just Google them. And they're words we use every day, so I don't think they're like complicated words or anything. Yes.
Can we see your objective?
Yes. So I put, because the student teaching office will ask you to submit like your unit plan and stuff to your supervisor. So I put like all my objectives, standards, everything from my lessons all together. So these are my objectives. And as you can see where there's yellow and there's red, that was Dr. Smirnova's way of telling me like to add this word, to kind of change it around. So for my first lesson, also with the lessons too, before you go in, you want to talk to your cooperating teacher and you need to see what they use. A lot of the public schools here use the modules. I use the modules, so I had to follow the first grade ELA module. So you just want to get an idea before you go in, talk to your cooperating teacher. You don't want to just do whatever you want and then it not be what they follow. So for lesson 1, it was given 6 fables and the task to select a favorite fable. The student will identify their favorite fable and will retell the story through a sequence of events, identifying 2 out of 3 events correctly through illustrating and writing. Now see, Dr. Smirnova gave me feedback. There are too many verbs. There should be only 1 action verb and a set of criteria for it. And she also will require a rubric. You want a rubric for every lesson you do. I don't care if it's just them like drawing on the board. Write a rubric for it. Rubrics are great. They look awesome. They're not hard to make. Make them on a scale to like 0 to 4, 1 to 4. They're so easy. And it just looks so good because it's something backing you up. You don't want to just give a student a 90 out of 100. You want to show EdTPA why did you give them 90 out of 100? Why did they get 3 out of 4 points?
So for that specific objective, you had a rubric for identifying correctly. So then you would have like
I had a rubric for every single activity I did for the guided and independent practices.
Okay.
I don't have it on here because it's like in the EdTPA TaskStream.